The first race of the Wawa Cup Series Chase has completed at the Nashville Super Speedway, and Rogel Dorn went on to dominate and take the points lead with 9 races left to go. However, today he starts in the 21st position, and a lot of his Chase competitors start much further up in the field. The one big variable here tonight is that this racetrack is always wild and unpredictable, and we are here for the 12th time in the Cup Series, for the second time in the Wawa Cup Series. As always, it's the Sirius XM 400 here from the Chicagoland Speedway. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to Joliet, Illinois, and the Chicagoland Speedway for the 22nd race of the season in the 2024 Wawa Cup Series. We are here for the Sirius XM 467 laps of action around this 1.5 mile speedway. And, oh boy, you know what this place is. If you've been on the channel long enough, we've used the same version of Chicagoland pretty much every single year. And we have seen some crazy things go down here on this racetrack, especially early on in these races. These guys all bunched up. It's going to be interesting to see if we end up with any wrecks early on. And we've got a considerable amount of our chase drivers starting kind of mid-pack here, including our last winner of Rogel Dorn, who comes into this race the points leader. I'm joined alongside Nathan Stadler for the call of tonight's event. And Nathan, Rogel Dorn went on to dominate last week's race at Nashville, pulled away to a 5-second lead to get that race victory, but he starts in the 21st position, 11th of the 12 chase drivers starting here tonight. What does he need to do to get out of that mid-pack and move his way to the front of the field to have an opportunity going 2 for 2 to open up this Wawa Cup Series Chase?
Well, Chicagoland is quite possibly the craziest mile and a half on the schedule for the Wawa Cup Series, and you definitely don't want to be starting at mid-pack anywhere, but especially here, because if you start in the middle of the pack, you could easily get caught up in an early crash that could hurt the point lead for Dorn. But on the bright side, for some of these chases that start up front, like Tuck, Bell, Keys, and etc., they are going to have a much better chance of not getting involved in any of the early shenanigans. So this racetrack is absolutely wild, and it's going to be one wild night in the Windy City.
It is. We're always so excited for this race each and every year, and hey, you know what? The way this chase is playing out here and the way we anticipate it to play out throughout the rest of the summer, it is going to be very interesting to see who ends up in the right position here tonight, because we got a lot of those strong runners starting up front, but also some guys who we expect to work their way through the field starting a little bit mid-pack. But the deepest chase driver is Daniel Pauls Jr. starting 26, and even he had a pretty solid run last week at Nashville. And we'll just have to see how it ends up shaking out for these guys here in the 67-lap event. The fuel run a little bit past halfway tonight as well, about a 35-36 lap fuel run for these guys. So if the caution comes out at the perfect time, we could see some split strategy as well. That is a very common thing here in Chicagoland. Who knows? Who knows how it's going to play out? We do know Matthew Hubert starting on the pole position, trying to get that best of the rest championship. But the other 12 drivers looking to get this championship, you see them on your screen in the order in which they currently run in the point standings. Of course, Rogel Dorn, your points leader by 10 points ahead of Nicholas Samedillo. You got Thomas Troxell, regular season champion, tied with Ludovic Charette there, 12 points behind. Blaine Keys would be much higher in the points if he did not get in the Sam at Oskin last week at Nashville. But he's got an opportunity to rebound starting in the 3rd position here tonight. 14 points behind. Jack Haas, 17 behind, our defending champion and defending race winner of the Sirius XM 400, Drew Webb, is 21 points behind. Kirsten Bell on the outside poles, 22 behind. Matt Tuck is 27 behind. Daniel Pauls Jr., 31 behind, and then Braden Perez, Trey Bartow did not get off the good starts last week in Nashville. Perez, 34 behind, Bartow, 37 behind, but Bartow starts 6th here tonight. Let's see what he does there from the 6th starting position. It's Matthew Hubert on the pole position there for Rut Racing. Another pole for Matthew Hubert this season. That, I believe, is his 3rd pole of the season, if I'm not mistaken. And that actually is just one behind Blaine Keys. Blaine Keys has 4 poles. He has the most poles this season. Matthew Hubert now has 3 poles this year. And we'll have to see if he can get his first career win. You got Kirsten Bell to his outside. Andrew Miller and Blaine Keys make up row number 2. Of course, your driver there, Andrew Miller, trying to get a good run there for NS Racing. Ladovic, Charette, Trey Bartow, chase drivers in row number 3. We've got ourselves Thomas Troxell to the inside of Jesse Turner, another great starting position for Turner. And then Ace Garcia to the inside of Matt Tuck. Rounding out the top 10 starting positions, you got Drew Webb in 11th. Nicholas Samadio all the way back there in the 17th starting position. Braden Perez in 18th starting position. Jack Haas in 20th. Rogel Dorn in 21st. And then Daniel Paulus Jr. in 26th to start off tonight's event. 67 laps here at Chicago. Let's go ahead and get these guys to roll off here in the Sirius XM 400. And we'll go ahead and get these guys to roll off here from the Chicagoland Speedway. Make sure everyone does, in fact, roll off here, and they do. So, Nathan, here's the big question. You're pretty good at this. Who's going to victory lane here tonight in the Sirius XM 400 at Chicagoland?
Well, like you said, I'm really good at picking the race winner. I'm going to go with someone that didn't have the best of weeks last week, but probably will want a good week here tonight. I'm going to go with last place in the chase standings after Nashville. Give me Trey Bartow doing here tonight.
Interesting pick right there. We'll have to see if Arizona Motorsports can get their driver to have a better run than he did last week. He started well in Nashville last week, but just did not have the speed as that race went along. And clearly they had some work to do going into this one here tonight. 37 behind Rogel Dorn, but a huge opportunity for guys like Blaine Keys, Ladovic, Charette, Thomas Troxell. Those three in particular have a very good chance of this championship. So does Nicholas Samadio, but he's a little bit further back in the field. Rogel Dorn starting where he is. That is going to be interesting, especially if he can get out of that alive, because there is a chance we may see a wreck back in there early on in this race that could take a few contenders out. But regardless of the fact, Matthew Hubert has a clean racetrack ahead of him right now. He's going to lead us to the green flag. Here we go, racing on 4th of July weekend in the Windy City. Green flag is in the air in the Sirius XM 400 at Chicagoland. Lap 1 will be led by Matthew Hubert in the number 0. A great jump for him at the start on that inside lane. Blaine Keys, Kirsten Bell, Ladovic Charette, and Andrew Miller round out the top 5. And Kirsten Bell looking to get a position here on Blaine Keys for second. Ladovic Charette trying to get some momentum their way as well. And Kirsten, this is the kind of race that definitely falls in her wheelhouse. She got the win at Las Vegas earlier on in the season, got the win at Dover. And these mile-and-a-half racetracks, I feel like, play in the hands of ERR pretty well here. Andrew Miller trying to make a move on Ladovic Charette. I know you love to see that. And Bartow trying to make a move on Troxell. Matt Tuck trying to make a move on Jesse Turner. They're all led by Matthew Hubert, who currently leads the points of the drivers who did not make the chase. And you know what? Matthew Hubert's got a good future ahead of him here in the Wawa Cup Series.
He definitely does. He's rising his stock a lot with 3 poles, and I think it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when Hubert can get that first clear Wawa Cup Series race victory. A lot more of a calmer start than I initially anticipated. Maybe these rains are really playing into a factor here tonight. But I just see a little bit 3 wide further on back behind them. And there's that looks like Ray Mygwall, Fitzy, and my other driver of Clampton in the middle of this. So a little bit 3 wide in the middle of the field, but a lot calmer than what we probably anticipated. But hey, that's a good thing, because with how this track is, it can fight at anyone at any given time. And this is not good for Rogel Dorn at the moment.
Not at all. Kind of stuck in that inside lane. Of course, he's got some other chasers along with him there, and Braden Perez, Nicholas Samadio, not off to a good starts to the top 2 guys. The guys who went 1-2 last week at Nashville are not having the best of runs here tonight at Chicagoland, ironically, and definitely interesting to see if they can rebound as this race moves along. They got to get out of this mess before they get caught up in an accident. Jack Haas and Daniel Paulus Jr. slipping back there, but a lot of the other chase drivers are further up front, including Drew Webb is moving his way through the field right here in the 12th position right now, right behind his teammate of LJ Semedo. And we go to the race lead, as looks like Blaine Keys had a shot but could not make it stick, and Kirsten Bell trying to take second away. Now, what we have seen throughout this week in the Elimination Series and the Sprint Series is that inside lane has absolutely no grip at all, and the outside lane is where you need to be to make these passes. and that might play in the favor of Matthew Hubert as this race goes along. However, these guys tend to get better as the race goes along, at least our chase drivers do. That has definitely been the case as the season has gone along with these guys and their race victories this season. So we'll have to see if they find some way around that zero machine as this race goes along. But you got to give a lot of props to Matthew Hubert in this zero and rut racing for what they've been able to accomplish. Yet they have not gone to victory lane yet this season, but they have definitely run up with these guys a majority of the later part of this season here, and currently leading here in the second chase race, trying to beat all the chasers here at Chicagoland Speedway.
Oh yeah, massive shout out to that zero team. You mentioned the Best of the West Championship, and really, there's a handful of draws that could win that quote-unquote championship, but I'm not surprised with who's winning that. Hubert is 13th, Brian Webb is 14th, Frampton's been on the roll in 15th, Chun, Gutierrez, Williams. There's a lot of good names that could be Best of the West at the end of the season. But how about Matthew Hubert just pulling away and doing a great job? You mentioned the outside lane being the place to be. Let's see if how that translates to the rest of the night. And speaking of the outside lane, look at Mr. Edge working that second lane. Have to see if how later on in the race, if that inside lane can get more grip and more rubber and challenge for that outside. But right now, Dornan's
also still just stuck right around the place he started as well. So all these guys, Jack Haas, Nicholas Samedeo, Rogal Doran, all struggling mightily here tonight. Brain Perez also not doing the best of jobs, at least as good as he would have hoped. It looks like Kirsten Bell had a shot there on Blaine Keys. Couldn't get the inside lane to work right there. And now you got Ladovic Shred trying to make a move on Kirsten Bell. And Thomas Troxell almost looking to split these guys. And don't look now, here comes Matt Tuck in the 54. Who is retiring at the end of the season as a driver. Going to be owning a team next year. And definitely excited to see how Velocistar Racing or Team Velocistar or whatever he told me it's going to be. Buck Fitness, Team Velocistar, I think Chase Buck coming on board. Another driver who will be retiring at the end of the season to help with that organization. And of course, they're still going to be associated with Grattan Autosport next year as well. So watch out for those guys. It's pretty much a super team going on right there amongst those Ford Dark Horse Mustangs. Yes, we're going to be using the Dark Horse next year for those guys. Here we go for third, Thomas Troxell and Kirsten Bell. Blaine Keys trying to close back in. Shout out to Avery Alford in the 52. Great run for him here tonight at the Chicagoland Speedway, up to the 7th position. His teammate Trey Bartow in 9th, and it's LJ Cemento, Drew Webb right there, 10th and 11th. So Drew Webb still very much up front in this race, but Rogal Doran still struggling. He, along with Jack Haas, Nicholas Samedeo, trying to work their way through the field, and they're still stuck around at that 20th position. It's got to be hard to work your way through the field here tonight, especially if it spreads out like this. In the Sprint Series race on Wednesday, Duncan Ward went on to grab the race victory. He led every single lap in that race, and right now, Matthew Hubert has done the same thing here in the Sirius XM 400.
Matthew Hubert might have led every single lap so far, but look at his chasing down in that number 41, Blaine Keys, and he made some citizen already, and it's going to be seen on how citizens end up going down. Already some breaking news here this week at Chicagoland with Matt Tuck and that entire team. Looking forward to using those dark horses next year. No news for us racing yet, but the only thing I will say that we will stay with Ford. Not really much of a surprise. So looking forward for those dark horses, and looking forward for maybe about a second between these three chases right here.
Definitely going to be interesting to see how it all ends up shaking out with all these drivers in different places next year. Of course, some guys staying with their teams. Thomas Troxell, Ladovic Charette, sticking with their organizations, of course. They've found a lot of success this season with their respective organizations. Same with Kirsten Bell in the 93 machine. She's going to be sticking with ERR next year, and she's almost spinning Blaine Keys there off the exit of turn number 2. And they just keep battling. And look at Troxell here. Troxell is like, forget all that. I'm going to pass all y'all and take second away. And Thomas Troxell has only won one race this season. That came at Talladega. And you definitely know it's ringing in Troxell's mind that he hasn't gotten a win on a real racetrack this year. Well, an opportunity for him here tonight at Chicagoland as he's up to the 2nd position now, trying to While down that number 0, Matthew Hubert, who has been the dominant driver of the night. Matt Tuck with a solid run in 6th. He needs it. 27 points behind Rogel Dorn. Of course, he's significantly further ahead of Rogel Dorn. Of course, a lot of these guys are, but Rogel has gotten around Jack Haas and Sam Medeo and starting to pull away from those guys. Sam Medeo not having a good night at all, and Daniel Paulus Jr. easily the worst of the chasers at the moment. And obviously a lot of big news surrounding Daniel Paulus Jr. as of late. He'll be leaving Trackhouse Racing all the way down there in the 36th position, and yeah, maybe a little bit of a lame duck few couple of races for those guys at this point, considering all of the news that's breaking over there. Well, you got Troxell, who is now closed right to the back over Matthew Hubert, while all these guys are still stuck behind Blaine Keys. F41 doesn't quite have the speed he had last week. Charette to the inside of Kirsten Bell, and Matt Tuck's right here in the middle of all this as well. And here we go for the race lead. Thomas Troxell's looking to take it away from Hubert here on lap 19. He's got a nose at the inside, not enough momentum quite yet. But if there's anyone that can make a pass for the race lead here, it's definitely that 62 machine of Thomas Troxell. I mean, look at what he did just a couple laps ago.
A couple laps ago, he kind of did the second lane. He kind of did the Wilson lane, kind of, at Chicagoland. And I think the 62 of Troxell might have one of the best long-run cars at the moment. 20 laps into this one, past halfway in this field one, and he might have a shot on the guy that has led every single lap up to this point after Hubert, but Hubert couldn't block. It's one thing to catch someone, but especially here, with the outside lane being as good as it is another thing to pass someone. But Troxell might be able to get back to him. But we have two ladies going at it. Ludovit Charette and Kristen Bell battling for, I believe, the 4th position.
And another thing to keep in mind, too, is the tire wear is also relatively significant here at Chicagoland. So the further we get into the run, the further those tires wear out, the harder it is to work that inside lane. And that's just what makes it so difficult to make these passes on the inside as the race goes along. But the cycle of pit stops will definitely make things interesting here in a few laps. We're closing in on that. Drew Webb closing in on his teammate LJ Semedo for the 10th position. You know, and these guys don't want to fall too far behind our race leader once that cycle begins if they still want an opportunity after the race victory. Matt Tuck and Ludovit Charette, teammates there at ground notice, were going after it right there as Tuck had the run to the outside, and Matt Tuck up to the 5th position now. Good run for Matt here at the Chicagoland Speedway. Keep an eye on Rogel Dorn. He's gotten around Jack Haas, trying to get around Bruno Diacomo. Braden Perez back here. That's for the 19th, 18th, 17th positions. And Rogel's just quite a ways back after dominating that race last week in Nashville, not finding the same speed here tonight at Chicagoland. And then, of course, Nicholas Sam Medeo struggling mightily as well. So the advantage in the points swinging towards guys like Troxell and Keys and Kirsten Bell, Ludovit Charette. Of course, especially Troxell, Charette, and Keys, all right there, 12 and 14 points behind. Oh, and around goes Seth Cole and Roberto Cram Jr. and Laura Chung, and the caution is out here at the Chicagoland Speedway. That's the 00 of Matt Black, also getting caught up. Bernardi Oliveira in the 57 with heavy damage, Roberto Cram Jr., Brad Stover. So the back of the field there with a massive accident off the exit of the corner, and our first caution of the night here in the Sirius XM 400.
Welcome to Chicagoland. It looked like we might have been able to have a long green flag one and have pit stops, and then all of a sudden, boom, big time wet off a turn. Number 4, that is the trouble spot. That tends to happen a lot more than off turn 2, and unfortunately a lot of drivers in the back are now done for the night with destroyed race cars.
Perfect opportunity to come down the pit lane. The only thing is they're not going to be able to make it to the end of the race from here.
Ooh,
that
they might be like 5 laps
window
short.
is right there near halfway. You know, it actually works out better when the fuel window is just a little bit past, like a couple laps past halfway, because then we have less of a likelihood of a fuel mileage race like we saw at New Hampshire a couple of weeks ago. And even at Iowa. I don't know what Iowa was.
Iowa was
something.
something.
Repeat of that one. Drew Webb didn't mind that one, of course. Here we go. Matthew Hubert has the first pit stall. Now we'll have to see if he ends up winning the race off the pit lane here. Of course, it's going to be 4 tires for these guys due to the fact that that tire wear is rather significant around this racetrack. Matthew Hubert, good stop. Good stop out of the Rut Racing team right there, and he will win the race off the pit lane ahead of Thomas Troxell. Matt Tuck up to third. Ludovic Charette, how about Avery Alford? And these guys bumping into each other right there. Drew Webb now with a good stop, and Kirsten Bell, Blaine Keys are significantly slow, and they are falling way back in the order. And that's 2 weeks in a row for Blaine Keys, running up front in the top 5 and slipping back. The good news for Keys, he has a lot more time, and then Kirsten Bell as well. They cannot afford that. You cannot afford mistakes like... I mean, then again, too, look at what Drew Webb did last year. I mean, he did some of the wackiest stuff imaginable and still managed to win the championship, albeit by 2 points, but he should have won that thing by like 50 points last year. I don't know if we're going to quite have a Drew Webb situation this season, though. I think we got a lot more solid drivers up front. But how about Matthew Hubert? He's led every lap so far. Will he be able to keep that going here on the restart? We'll see after we review the accident that brought out the caution here in the Sirius XM 400 at Chicagoland. Well, this one started all the way on the backstretch. Logan Williams and Seth Cole going into turn at number 3. And, oh boy, Williams is going to be able to save this, but Seth Cole... a little Tokyo drift here throughout the majority of turns 3 and 4. They just get into it a little too much, and then Seth Cole officially goes around, and what goes up must come down. And you got all these cars who are down trying to get around this 48. Roberto Crown Jr. is the first unfortunate victim of this one. Just a scrape right there on the 5. But then their teammate Laura Chung right in the Seth Cole. Daniel Paulus Jr. avoids this. Great job out of Daniel. But then he comes back down. Bernardo de Oliveira, Matt Black in the 00, and Brad Stover is going to get a piece of it as well. I think that's going to be it here for this one, but still a tough break there for a lot of these guys who have had tough seasons. And 4 of them, I think, are going to get knocked out from this accident as well. Tough break there for Seth Cole and all these guys involved here at the Chicagoland Speedway.
Here we go. This started down the back stretch, and I don't know if something happened before this between Cole and Williams, but turned them twice. And the second time was, unfortunately, the Chun. Crown Jr. gets clipped, and then nowhere to go for Chun. And the 57, the 00, the 88. Multiple cars involved, and unfortunately, a lot of them, like you said, Alex, have had bad seasons, and they're going to continue that with bad races tonight. Tough one early on, but let's go ahead and see what ends up happening with these top 2 of Hubert and Troxell on the first restart, and hopefully only restart of the night.
We'll have to see how it ends up shaking out. Matthew Hubert won the race off the pit lane. Troxell's going to be right behind him, though. Let's see how it all goes down here in the Sirius XM 400 from Chicagoland. We're back here at the Chicagoland Speedway. Uh-oh, who was that? Bryce Egan.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I can hear it now. Bryce Egan moving over. Oh, no!
Oh, no! A double!
Well, okay, so there are levels to this right here, because I was just about to say, Bryce Egan is going to Trackhouse Racing next year, and then, as I was about to say that, the Trackhouse Racing car of Daniel Paulus Jr. just blew up. That is a chase driver right there. That's going to end both of their nights. Yikes.
You cannot make that up. Oh my goodness, they are in a tough way for both drivers.
Wow, so that's a tough one for Daniel Paulus Jr. Definitely the underdog in this chase. Still 8 races left to go, but not at all the way he wanted to start it out. All right, Matthew Hubert, Thomas Troxell, Matt Tuck, Ludovic Charette, Avery Alford, the top 5, and Matt's going for it on Troxell right here. It'll be interesting to see if he can get around him. Gonna try to cut down on the inside lane. Now's the time to get the inside lane to work right here, and Matt Tuck, only 1 career win in the Wawa Cup Series. He's got 9 more opportunities to do so as a driver. And he definitely would love to get it here tonight in the Sirius XM 400. But so would his teammate Ludovic Charette. So would Thomas Troxell. That outside lane getting a lot of speed right there through the exit of turn 4. Just no grip on that inside lane still with these fresh tires. Now these guys are still going to have to come down the pit lane again before the end of this race. So it's going to get interesting. Here comes Bartow on his teammate for... oh boy, that's for the 4th position. Great run for Bartow right there. Now that he got Keys and Bell further back in the field, they're going to try to work their way through the field here during this run. Definitely going to have some new players kind of battling for this race lead. Troxell, oh my goodness, he almost put Matt Tuck He almost sent him to the shadow realm with that move right there. Thankfully, they avoided it, and that checked up the 54. Now Charette trying to take third away from her teammate as Matthew Hubert continues to dominate this field here at Chicagoland, but Troxell is right there. He might have a shot for the lead here.
If Hubert wants to get his first career win here tonight, he's got to hold off some of the best in the Wawa Cup Series, and one of them is the two-time regular season champion of Thomas Troxell. If he can make this inside lane work early on, he might have a shot, but Hubert's going to hang on to the outside. Tut's going to close in to Troxell and try to take that second spot away. And this racing is absolutely fantastic. We have so many chasers up front, but we have so many non-chasers up front as well, like Hubert, Alfred, Smedo, Crampton, and others. Fantastic racing here tonight under the lights at Chicagoland.
Of course, I've never really seen it to this level where it's this difficult to make passes for the race lead. That caution out again. Oh my goodness gracious!
That's not good.
Just imagine if a certain owner was still the owner of this team, we'd really be hearing it. That is unfortunate for Tanner Parton in the 18, and then his teammate Brad Stover in the 88. Racing back to the line, will be won by Matthew Hubert in the 0 machine. And now the window is open to come down the pit lane and make it to the end of the race. So
that's the only positive, is that they can make it from here. No, you don't have to stress about fuel mileage again. We should be good from here.
So Matthew Hubert in the 0 has led every lap in this race. That has been a very common theme with the past few races here in the Wawa Cup Series. These drivers just dominating these races. However, another pit stop right here. He's got to be careful to not let Troxell or Charette jump him here, because we could definitely see some strategy play. They did just come down for tires not too long ago, and now they're going to have another opportunity here. We'll play a little strategy. Of course, this, too, could end up being the last stop of the night, because they do not have to come down again to pit for fuel after this. We're past halfway, the fuel window a little bit longer than halfway, and we're not at Dover. So, shouldn't have to worry about that. Going to be interesting to see if they go 2 tires or 4 tires. I would be thinking long-term right here. Troxell's going 4, and Hubert is also going 4 tires. Of course, Blaine Keys and the 93 of Kirsten Bell. Of course, Bell's got a little bit of damage there in the 93 machine. So Hubert will still win the race off the pit lane. Unless the officials decide that Troxell, in fact, won it right there, because Troxell's kind of just driving away from him at the moment. He catches that pace car. That 0 of Matthew Hubert did not get going off the exit of the pit lane, and that is shuffling these guys up just a little bit. So they will get back into their respective orders, and Matthew Hubert is in fact still the race leader here at Chicagoland Speedway. All right. I do believe that the 5, Roberto Crown Jr. was a lap down and is coming down the pit lane now. We got a lot of guys out of the race. We didn't really get a chance to check that out because we had Paulus Jr. and Bryce Egan blow up on the restart. Let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the, what was it, the second caution of the night. Losing track right there. And then let's go ahead and see what happened, or what happens on the restart here in the Sirius XM 400 at Chicagoland. And this is very similar to the first one right here. Kirsten Bell, who obviously is not happy about getting caught in the back of the field. That poor pit stop right there. Tries to get around Tanner Parton, and Parton cuts down on her, and she's not having any of it. And Parton goes around in the 18, up into the outside wall. And you would think, with only 1 car, 2 cars back in there, you would think Brad Stover would avoid this. But as we saw, and it definitely shocked us all when we saw it, he did not. And it's actually Parton trying to get that thing in reverse and back out on the racetrack, where Brad Stover squarely hits him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Hey, why don't we do it for the number, right? 18 times. Tanner Parton goes around, and he ends up landing on his side. Actually, 18 and a half. Yeah, those are the teammates there. Tanner Parton taking over the ownership for the end of the season. He is going to remain a driver going into next year, though, so this team will be closing at the end of the year. But, that was a tough one. That was a rough one, no doubt about it.
Well, Bell was not happy about being in the back of the pit road and took out her frustrations on, unfortunately, Tanner Parton right here. And he's going to go on for a wide, courtesy of his teammate, Brad Stover, right there. And look at how violent these 18.5 barrels are here at Chicagoland Speedway. Oh my goodness. Good thing it's just a video game. But, as real life, Tampa would be feeling it, and he might be feeling it. A little bit of disappointment after that one. Tough break for both of those cars, but Matthew Hubert survived one restart. Can he survive another one here at Chicagoland?
Just have to see how it all goes down. Hubert is still the race leader, and these guys can make it to the end now, so we'll have to see how this race ends up shaking out. Thomas Troxell second, Ladovic Strat, Matt Tuck there. See how it all goes down for our second restart of the night here in the Sirius XM 400. We're back once again at the Chicagoland Speedway. All right, let's check it. No one blowing up this time, right? All right,
they look good.
And with that, I realized that during that last caution, when we were coming back, we did not go over the drivers who were out of the race. Well, now we got even more of them because we had the two TP Motorsports cars get into it with Tanner Parton and Brad Stover. They're both out of the race. Bryce Egan and Daniel Paulus Jr. out from their respective issues. Seth Cole, Bernardo de Oliveira, Laura Chung, and then the 00 of Matt Black out from the first incident. Roberto Crown Jr. lap down. Ace Garcia was on the pit lane for an extended time, is on the tail end, not on the tail end of the lead lap, but he is on the lead lap at the back of the field. And Blaine Keys and Kirsten Bell. Bell had to repair damage on her pit stop, which sent her to the back of the field once again. Blaine Keys still back there. Sam Medeo also deep in the field as well. A great opportunity for the Grattan guys. Chris, and again, Ladovic did not have a good restart that last time around. She's really deep in the field at the moment. And here we go. Great opportunity for Thomas Troxell to finally take the race lead. Will this be the opportunity on Matthew? Oh, he's cleared him going in the turn number 4. But Hubert on the outside trying to hold strong on that outside lane, and he's going to still lead the lap right there. Avery Alford is up to third right here. You got some Meadow making some moves on Matt Tuck. Your boy Travis Crampton's up here in the 6th position. And Braden Perez with a great run. These guys here have to be careful. Rogel and it's finally happened. Troxell is finally cleared for the race lead, and we got a new race leader here at Chicagoland. It's Thomas Troxell for Pacific Racing. Matthew Hubert, Avery Alford battling for second. Matt Tuck trying to get around these guys, so he has a shot on Troxell. They're 3 wide back in here. Ladovic Strat in the middle of all this with Drew Webb, Jesse Turner, Trey Bartow. These chasers are all over the place now as Rogel has cracked the top 10 here at Chicagoland Speedway.
How about that for Rogel? And how about that restart? I feel bad for Hubert, but he's still going to have a great one tonight as long as he doesn't have anything bad happen to him. He's going to get that win at some point, but Troxell is checking out the regular season champion. Really trying to get his first win at a real racetrack and his second win on the season here tonight.
How about Jack Haas as well, also moving his way through the field very well. And LJ Semedo. Oh boy, they're splitting Tuck right there. Alford and Crampton on the inside. Tuck got loose off the exit. LJ Semedo doing an excellent job here tonight with Titan Fury Racing. He has not really shown much strength throughout a majority of this year outside of his Daytona 500 win. This is wild, and Matt Tuck needed to get out of that one quick. They keep jamming up back in there, and you got the 31 in the middle of all this, and you know how that 31 can be. That's Leonard Kochmer behind the wheel this weekend, and he's trying to hang tough with these guys. How about Titan Fury? All their guys in the top 15 right now, and Drew Webb looking to the inside, and all of a sudden you got Blaine Keys, who's kind of in the back of all this trying to work his way through as well. Kirsten Bell, I think the damage he has to her car is really holding her back, and oh no, Drew Webb's around! And a big wreck. Blaine Keys, Ladovic's involved as well. Kirsten Bell, and they pile in turn 1 for our 3rd caution of the night. They just couldn't keep going with that, the way that was going.
That was doomed from the start. They were going 3 wide and almost 4 wide at times.
And Drew Webb is done for the night in the 99 machine. That's huge right there. Chase Buck also involved. Blaine Keys, he's done as well. Wrong place, wrong time for so many of those drivers right there. Well, we said it was going to be wild and unpredictable here tonight. Well, that has absolutely been the case so far here in this Sirius XM 400.
Welcome to the craziest mile and a half on NR2003. In my opinion, at least with this version, the 2011 version of Chicagoland, it has produced some chaos here tonight. And unfortunate break for a lot of our chases in that one. Bell, Webb, Keys, just to name a few.
And that bad pit stop's what sent Keys and Bell behind the 8 ball on that one right there. And one driver who was not involved in that was Rogeldoren. We thought this was going to be a tough night for Rogeldoren, considering where he started. He did not get off to a good start initially, but he is still in this thing, trying to work his way through the field and keep this points lead going in the Pocono next week. Rogel's looking really strong here tonight, and Drew Webb out of the race. Blaine Keys out of the race. That's a huge one right there. Chris Blaine Keys making the move over to Pacific Racing next year, and that's the team that's leading right now with Thomas Troxell in the 62. Let's go ahead and see what happened to bring in our 3rd caution of the night here. We started this race 25 laps, green flag, and the past 20 we've seen 3 yellow flags here in this Sirius XM 400. If there was ever a cursed ride, I tell you what. It's actually Giacomo in the 28. Ah, man. Thought he had Turner cleared, he didn't. And then Koshmer thought he had Giacomo cleared, he didn't. And it's teammates to get into each other right there. Drew Webb hard in the outside wall. It's going to take Drew Webb out of the race. And Blaine Keys almost missed it. Koshmer got into him right there. Charette in the 51. Giacomo comes sliding back up. And then all these guys in the outside lane. Chase Buck, Kirsten Bell, nowhere to go for those guys. Brian Webb, Andrew Miller. And also the 11 of Duncan Ward, who won on Wednesday night, caught up in this accident as well. Wow. I tell you, man. That 31, ever since he took out Matt Tuck at Montreal. Well, ever since the 31, it's been a different driver every week. It's been a different driver every week in that 31 machine. It doesn't matter who's driving it, though, because it causes... I mean, it wasn't necessarily Kochmer's fault. Giacomo, as well, was kind of a little aggressive in that regard. Just a shame for all those guys, and especially for Drew Webb and Blaine Keys, who will be out of the race here at the Chicagoland Speedway.
Here we go, 3rd caution of the night. First one down the front stretch, and teammates took out the number 31, and this is the big one here tonight at Chicagoland. Multiple cars involved, multiple chase drives involved, and I'm glad that the 484 was able to make it through unscathed with the dust, but that's gonna change a lot of championship hopes here tonight. But someone that is happy, maybe not about the caution, but about being out front right now, is this number 62, Thomas Troxell. 3rd caution of the night, the big one, and gonna be the 3rd restart of the night. I'd see if Troxell can hang on to this race win with 3 hungry non-chase drivers behind him.
Troxell's definitely going to be hard to beat, but he had a pretty significant lead that has been erased, so another opportunity for Hubert and Sametto and all these guys to maybe steal a race win. Let's see how it all goes down here in the Sirius XM 400. About 20 laps to go here at Chicagoland. We're back once again here at the Chicagoland Speedway for the Sirius XM 400. We'll be restarting with 20 laps to go here in this race. Ooh, and definitely the biggest one of the night occurred right there with Drew Webb and Blaine Keys, the 2 major drivers getting involved in that accident. And Bruno Giacomo also out of the race. Those are the 3 drivers eliminated from running, and then you also got the 93 Akira Sabel now a lap down. Leonard Koshimer and Chase Bucket were caught up in the accident. They're now a lap down due to damage repairs. 25 drivers on the lead lap, last one being Ace Garcia in the 44. Ladovich Duretti was caught up in the accident, now in the 24th position. Further up, you have Nicholas Samadia, who was not caught up. He's just been that bad tonight. I don't know what the deal is. Bartos 14th. And then you got Rogaldorn in 8th. Jack Haas in 7th. Braden Perez, Matt Tuck. And then the race leader, Thomas Troxell in the 62. Those are your chase drivers. Daniel Paulus Jr. also out of the race after getting caught up in his own issues with his engine. 20 to go here at Chicagoland for Thomas Troxell, who was pulling away from those guys when that caution came out. And now's the opportunity for anyone to get to the 62, or we'll have to see if that's 71 of LJ Cemento, 52 of Avery Alfred have a good run here tonight. How about Jack Haas making a move as well there on Matt Tuck for position? Rogaldorn is coming in that 74. If there's anyone that can get the Troxell, it's Rogaldorn. You know Rogel's going to be fast here on these speedways.
Rogaldorn won last week. Last week, I should say, and from the 21st position, trying to get win number 4, I believe, on the year. And I know we've mentioned a lot about Matthew Cooper, but how about the other racing cars? That is the number 20 of Phil Torres.
Just now took 10th away from Turner.
Yep, just took the top 10. And you know what? With all these cautions, you know, we're going to see some new draws just inside the top 10 or just outside the top 10, like Turner, like Torres, and several others.
And of course, Matt Tuck came into this race 27 points behind Rogaldorn, and Rogaldorn's about to pass him, and that's just what one race can do to you. Matt Tuck did not have the best of runs in Nashville. Granted, he was a little bit further behind the 8 ball to start off the chase. Rogel's in the Jack Haas! They're going to save it, but that could have been a lot worse than it was. Oh my goodness. And I know the two owners of those teams don't have the best of history, so that was a tight one right there. They're going to keep it together for now. You got LJ Cemento looking on Matthew Hubert for second. LJ Cemento has done such a fabulous job, and so has Avery Alfred here tonight. Both top 5 runs. Alfred is kind of left in the air right now in terms of the free agency. Got let go by Hairsville Motorsports and will be replaced by Philip Torres next year, so don't quite know where Alfred's going to end up. But races like this help him get to a better ride next year, and there are definitely some good rides still out there, especially this one, Braden Perez in the 23 leaving Team Williams at the end of the year. Who knows, maybe Alfred will end up there at Team Williams next year. You know, that team's definitely got a lot of strength to them. I don't know what's up with Sam Adio tonight. Up to 14th, which isn't too bad, but with Rogaldorn running where he is right now, not necessarily what you want going into this one. Jack Haas trying to close in on Matt Tuck there for position. Matthew Hubert is staying within range of Thomas Troxell here. He's not pulling away like he was earlier on. Jack Haas trying to make the move here on Matt Tuck. He might be able to do it with help from Rogaldorn here on this inside lane. Nope. Tuck's going to be able to hold on to the position. Braden Perez, top 10 run for him. Battling there with Philip Torres, and then it's Travis Crampton rounding out the top 10 for the moment. Philip Torres going to make the move there on Perez there for the 8th position. Great run for Philip Torres here tonight. And Matthew Hubert trying to take this lead back away from Troxell. All you got to do is beat him at the line for the win.
Only 13 to go at the line, and I think both racing cars have found something. They've adjusted the cars for the longer one, and or to make the cars feel better on older tires, and maybe you can have a shot in Hubert. But I'm gonna give a shout out to both of these drivers, Cemento and Avery Alfred. If things get wild and we have another restart, watch out for them, because Cemento and Alfred have been fast here tonight. Same with Torres, and same with Crampton, same with... Is that the Smith Series driver with Appalachian? I think that is back there.
How about Skylar Taylor? We really haven't seen much of Skylar this year. I think this may only be, if I'm not mistaken here. Let me take a look and see. That's only their 4th start in the Cup Series this year, and they have not had a good run in the Sprint Series. But, yeah, how about the Appalachia? The best Appalachia car right now, and they're all right on each other. Logan Williams right behind them, and then you got Sam Adio there not too far behind. They're jamming up around Rogaldorn again. They have just not been able to make moves on each other at all. Oh boy, this could get interesting. Chase Buck is way off the pace right here. I think that let Hubert close in on Troxell, and I'm concerned about these guys trying to get around Chase Buck. Oh no, Matt Tuck in the 54. Getting stuck behind him. That's going to cost Matt Tuck a couple of positions, and it's going to allow a lot of these guys to pass him. You got Rogaldorn trying to make a move here. They're jamming up behind Alford. And Matt Tuck's still stuck behind Chase Buck. You just never know, do you? You just never know what's going to happen in one of these races. And Matt Tuck's going to lose a lot of points right there because of that. They're getting around Avery Alford, both Jack Haas and Rogaldorn. Rogaldorn in the top 5 now here at Chicagoland, but Alford going to try to get back on the outside lane of him, and it looks like he will. Good run there for Alford. And with these other lap cars, you got Kirsten Bell, you got Leonard Kochmer here, Roberta Crown Jr., Troxell, and Hubert. Hubert's got a shot at finding some way around Troxell to win this thing with those lap cars further up ahead.
Alfred is definitely putting a case for free agency. Hopefully he finds a wide next year. But as far as the race lead and all of these lap cars, I thought this is over between Troxell and Hubert. It might not. This is remind me a lot of the 2014 Chicagoland race where Kyle Wilson, a non-chaser, was battling up front with all of the chase drivers trying to get his first career win.
Wide ahead of him.
Hubert's trying to get Troxell's going to get past Bell.
Or no.
Oh, never mind.
He got stuck on the inside. Here comes Hubert. Here comes Hubert in the 0. Will he try to peek to the outside? Troxell was getting in the Kochmer right there. I tell you what. That 31 car. One thing after another, isn't it? That could have been a lot worse for Troxell right there. Thankfully, it wasn't. He continues to hold on and pull away from Hubert here.
That's not helpful.
We're closing in on 6 laps to go here in the Sirius XM 400 as well. Jack Haas going to take 3rd away from LJ Semedo. You got to give a huge shout out to Jack Haas here. Now, he has run a great race, and he is about to get a podium finish here. Rogaldorn, he's going to get passed by Braden Perez on the outside lane right there. Philip Torres may also get around the 74 machine. It's not going to be a win for that driver, as Jack Haas trying to get around the lap cars right here. Got Leonard Kochmer right ahead of him. LJ Semedo as well. And Troxell getting around Roberta Crown Jr. Now, will they close in on Chase Buck again in this race? That's the big question. I don't know if they will. I don't think they're going to have enough time to catch up to the 32 before we're done here. I just don't think that's a likely case. We got a lot of stuff going on right here as they're trying to get around Kirsten. Stuck behind Leonard Kochmer. They got to be careful not to hook each other trying to do that. Also, got Matt Tuck trying to rebound as well. Sam Medeo is 13th.
Man, oh man.
Really off the pace right there. It's now the 50 machine of Skylar Taylor getting held up. Matt Tuck's going to gain a couple more spots back because of that. He's going to move back into the top 10 with that move. And Thomas Troxell's got a 1.3 second lead now on Matthew Hubert, so unless he blows up or gets into a lap car, I think this race is effectively over at this point. You got to give Hubert so much credit, though, for keeping this thing up front here tonight. And that win's going to come for him at some point. Maybe this season, maybe next season. All we know is that he's a great driver. He has shown that here tonight, and he's going to remain 13th in points, highest of the non-chasers after tonight. Jack Haas up to 3rd. Now, in terms of the points lead, I think we might end up with a tie up top because Troxell going to get all the bonus points for winning and dominating this race. Rogaldorn still stuck in 7th right here. So we'll have a tie up top the point standings going in the Pocono. And Troxell looking to take that top spot back away after this one here tonight. 1.5 laps to go here at Chicagoland for Thomas Troxell in the Sirius XM 400.
Well, so close for Hubert. How about this for Thomas Troxell? In 1 lap time, as long as nothing catastrophic happens, he's going to get his first win at a real racetrack, and he's going to get a second win at a great time.
White flag in the air in the Sirius XM 400 for Thomas Troxell and Pacific Racing. Troxell looking for his 5th career win in the Wawa Cup Series. And you know what? This is going to be a huge one there for that organization. Because there are questions. Would Troxell even get another win this year? His one win came at Talladega. Well, he came and he showed up here tonight. Thomas Troxell gets the win at the Chicagoland Speedway. You got Matthew Hubert, Jack Haas, L.J. Cimetto, oh, actually, Avery Alford, then L.J. Cimetto. Rogaldorn will finish 6th. Travis Crampton, Philip Torres, Logan Williams, and then Matt Tuck. Perez falling back to 11th there. And how about Ludovic Charette in the 51, rebounding to 13th after getting caught up in an accident, so not too much damage there for that organization. Nicholas Samadeo finishing 14th. Bartow finishing 18th here tonight. Kirsten Bell finishing in 26th. And then out of the race, Drew Webb in 31st, Blaine Keys in 32nd, and then Daniel Paulus Jr. in 36th. But Chase driver, regular season champion, Thomas Troxell gets his 2nd win of the season here in the Wawa Cup Series. He gets the job done in dominating fashion here at Chicagoland, ahead of Matthew Hubert and Jack Haas. What a race that was. It's always fun here at Chicagoland, and we had another fun one here tonight. What you make of it, man? What a race here in the Sirius XM 400.
Welcome to Chicagoland. The first 25 laps went caution-free, Hubert dominated, and then things got wild for the next 20 laps, and then it got even more wild with flat traffic. That's really 3 races in one, split into thirds here at Chicagoland, but that's what you get at this crazy mile and a half. Feels so bad for Hubert, but I think that one's gonna get here before you know it. Either this year or next year, he's gonna get that first career Wawa Cup Series win. Eventually, great ones for some of these non-chases though here tonight, like Avery, Alfred, Cimetto, Crampton, Torres, Williams, Turner with a good one. Taylor, the highest full-time driver as a Sprint Series driver. Some really good ones with some drivers that survived the chaos here. And of course, some drivers with some bad ones here tonight. Welcome to Chicagoland, and who knows, maybe we'll have a little bit of a calmer race next time out at Pocono, but that's just the way this track turns into sometimes. But what a win for Troxell here tonight.
Yeah, and you look at how many drivers failed to finish here tonight. You know, it was a little crazy out there. Of course, they were all condensed right into the center of the race. We had a long green flag run to open, a long green flag run to end, and then everything has happened in the middle. But tough break for a lot of these guys, and especially Drew Webb and Blaine Keys. Those are the 2 biggest names right there, because Blaine Keys was moving his way back through the field there when that wreck occurred. He would have finished much higher, and now he's going to be falling behind. Same with Drew Webb, our defending champion. Not off to the start he had last year by any stretch. By this time last year in the Chase, he had won both Chase races to open up, so not the same thing for him. And Daniel Paulus Jr. is such a shame for him, just having a gearbox issue there. Like I said, maybe a bit of a lame duck feel at that organization with him moving on. But Troxell gets the job done here tonight at the Chicagoland Speedway. And next week will be at the Pocono Raceway, the Tricky Triangle, the Hers Forever Good 400. I love it there. And we're going to have a very interesting race once again. That race was almost caution-free last year. We had a caution on the last lap, actually the penultimate lap of the race. Had that massive battle between Drew Webb and Nicholas Samadeo last year. We'll see something like that again this year. It's going to be fun there, the Tricky Triangle, for the home state of Wawa, the home state of Hers. We're excited for it, the Pocono Raceway, for our 3rd race in the Wawa Cup Series Chase. And then a week after that, 2 weeks from now, it's the Brickyard 400. And then we roll in the Road America and Watkins Glen. I tell you, we got some of the best races of the season coming up here, including this one here tonight. What a race it was, and Thomas Troxell gets it done in the Sirius XM 400 to get his 2nd win of the season. And I believe Rogaldorn's going to have maybe 1 or 2 points on Troxell going into Pocono next week. But here are said points for the Wawa Cup Series after the first 2 races of the Chase. A huge thanks to Nathan Stapleton for joining me here tonight. And huge congratulations to Thomas Troxell once again on his race victory here in the Sirius XM 400. On behalf of Nathan Stapleton, here are the points for the Wawa Cup Series after 22 races, and I will see you guys later.